Welcome to Common Sense Rhode Island. This is a program where we try to make sense out of the policies that affect your life and come up with common sense solutions. I'm Representative Patricia Morgan, and today we have with us Dexter Liu, who has agreed to come and talk with us about immigration, because you're an immigrant.
I am. I'm a naturalized American citizen.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm actually retired now, but I was in the product development business for the entertainment industry and the toy industry pretty much all my life, 35 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of your work here in the United States, or?
International. I had a partner actually overseas for a good amount of time, over a decade. Prior to that, I worked for corporate in America, so kind of worked up the ranks, studied industrial design at the Rhode Island School of Design, went to work for a corporation, and went on from there.
Okay, so you ended up in Rhode Island because of your schooling?
Actually, because of the schooling, initially in the early 70s, and then because of job opportunity later on, late 70s, when I came back to Rhode Island, left again, and went away to work for a large corporation, General Mills, and went a couple of different corporate jobs through Connecticut, eventually coming back to Rhode Island and actually becoming a junior partner with a startup venture in '86.
Okay, and now you're going to leave again, but we won't talk about that. Where are you from originally?
My parents were originally from Shanghai, China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're an immigrant from China then?
With Chinese, I'm a Chinese descent, yes.
Okay,
correct.
Great. Obviously, illegal immigration has been talked about a lot because of the presidential election. And here in Rhode Island, because of the illegal immigrants wanting to get driver's licenses. So it's kind of out there. It's been on talk radio and newspapers and stuff. You immigrated legally. I guess I'd like to just hear some of your opinions about all of the conversation that's happening around the topic.
Yeah, it's obviously a passionate conversation, and I understand on both sides.
Very emotional.
Very emotional. Very emotional, and it's personal because it involves human beings, real lives, and so forth. And we all concur.
And I think it also gets wrapped into economics as well.
Clearly.
Competition for jobs.
Clearly.
Use of government services, resources. So it really is a big topic that goes across a lot of different government services, policies, and then effects on personal lives as well.
Of course. I come at it kind of this way. I mean, looking at my own personal situation, and one of the reasons that I chose to become an American is because I had a desire to stay in this country, because I have grown to love this country and am proud to call it my home. That didn't happen by happenstance. It was because of a long, protracted process of coming in as a foreign student initially, applying for a work permit, and then eventually going through the green card process, and then deciding to apply for citizenship, and then becoming sworn in. So it's a long process, and you can argue that indeed that process that's offered to those who choose to become American, to immigrate here in this country, is really a long vetting process.
Yeah, it's funny that you should say that in the past it's been a very long process. My mom was a war bride, and she came over. Obviously, my dad married her, and she came over after World War II. And it took her a long time to make that emotional cut with England. She's from England, right? And say, no, I love America. I'm American. She felt American. She wanted to be American. She never wanted to go back to England again. And that's the kind of That's the kind of
I concur.
citizen we want,
Absolutely.
right?
I absolutely concur. You know, I mean, for us, my family and my brother and sister, same thing, same process. We love this country for a whole host of reasons. It is truly a melting pot. And, you know, I take exception to this notion of diversity, which really suggests division.
Yeah.
And in this country,
think so,
it's not
too.
about division, it's about the melting pot. And I married an American.
It always was about the melting
Yeah.
pot.
Absolutely.
Honestly, my mom had an English accent when she first came over. I don't know if you had a Chinese accent or not, but you don't now. And my dad said, you're in America, you're not going to have an accent, you're going to speak like an American. And she worked at not having an accent because she wanted to be just like all of us, right?
But to me, that was so important, the melting pot.
The melting pot
And
part
part
of
and
it.
parcel of being part of that melting pot is respect for the rule of law of this country. And why? Because in a way, it's kind of a selfish motive. Because if we have truly a rule of law and everybody is truly given the same opportunities such as we've been granted through our Constitution, that's the country I want to be in. So if we go on a slippery slope, which is, in my opinion, what's happening today with this debate about immigration versus illegal immigration, to me, I take huge exception. And the story that's not been told is, what about all those people who want to be in America and do it right, come in through the front door, go through the proper vetting process, and eventually take great pride in becoming naturalized? What about them?
Well, exactly. How long did it take you to to actually get here and to become a citizen?
I came into America in 1968, September 1968, and went to actually high school. And eventually graduated high school, came to RISD. I forget exactly the timeline. I can't pin down exactly what year, but it took several years. Of course, going through school, I had the student visa. And eventually, when I applied for a job and was accepted at a corporation, the company was kind enough to help me get a work permit so I could stay in this country and actually work for them. And then through that process, eventually I applied for a green card and received a green card.
So that's when, I mean, you've been here legally the whole time, but
Yes.
at the green card, that's when you say, okay, I want to be
here. I want to be a permanent
here.
resident.
So how many years do you think that took?
Oh, geez, that's
A bunch.
8 to 10 years easily.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what I hear from immigrants that come here legally. They fill out the forms, they go through the whole process. It takes years.
It takes years.
It takes years. When somebody sneaks in the line in front of them, it pushes those people farther back in the line.
Correct. There's two
And
things.
it's a disservice to those who are
Absolutely.
doing it the right way.
Well, it's a slap in the face to those people. But the other thing too is, if you even take that off the table, what doesn't happen is this person has not assimilated into America to the extent that the others have actually worked hard to. And to me, that's where I take the exception. So to me, the debate really shouldn't be about immigration versus illegal immigration, because those two are apples and oranges. And illegal immigrants simply don't get the vetting process, simply don't have the heart to become America. And, you know, some may choose to, but again, we leave that completely to chance, and of course we have chaos as a result.
All right. Well, that's sobering. But we'll be back in just a few minutes and we'll continue the conversation.